On this episode, we introduce our new Garden Grid watering system, Connection Manifolds. Hi everyone, I'm Brian Trafficanti from Garden in Minutes, and this is episode 22 of Easy Growing. On today's episode, we're introducing our new Garden Grid watering system, Connection Manifold, designed by our co-founder Tom, who you might have seen in Easy Growing episode 8, where he showed you how to build a greenhouse without using any tools in your raised garden bed. He's also the designer of the Garden Grid watering system. So today, he's brought to us our newest addition to Garden Minutes, and it's the new Connection Manifold, which basically brings the connection points of your garden grid up higher, so you don't have to bend down as much. And it also pulls in the water feed tubes tight against your garden bed. That way it's a bit more of a neat and tidy, organized garden that you can grow in. Now I'll take you down to our garden and show you what it's like. But what's really neat about the manifold here is that, one, along with bringing all your hoses and things like that tight against your garden bed to keep them out of the way, he's designed it so that it can be made into a variety of heights. This is our 8-inch tall one, which of course goes with an 8-inch tall raised garden bed. We also have a 16, a 24-inch, and a ground level one. So if you have two garden grids at ground level and you, don't have a raised bed or the need for the height of a taller manifold like this one lays flat on the ground, the grids connect here, and your garden hose comes in right here. Now, the last component about the new manifold that is really what I think is exciting is that they all now have a additional connection port. So if you have your garden hose coming in here, you have your garden grids connected here, this cap can unscrew to allow you to add a garden hose with a sprayer, for instance, or add a garden hose to connect to another garden grid, or a garden hose that connects to another manifold for multiple garden grid connections. So I'll take you down to our garden, show you what it's like. Everything is still adjustable, where you can adjust the water flow to each garden grid individually, but now everything's a bit tighter and neater in your garden, and you have a little bit more option in terms of adding additional features like a garden hose with a sprayer, or more easily connecting to multiple garden grids for the rest of your garden. Alright, so over by our garden, and you can see the new Garden Grid Connection Manifold currently in action. Connecting these two garden grids together while also keeping the tubes and hose tight against the garden bed, basically keeping out of the way, keeping everything nice and neat and tidy in your garden. Each garden grid still has the ability to be adjusted independently of its partner. So if you can see the water running right now, I can turn this valve to reduce the flow here. Say I have seedlings, I need something a little bit more gentle, or this garden has enough water, I can turn it off completely while this one stays at its current rate, or I can adjust them both to exactly what I need. Now, on here, we of course have the connection, the additional connection port that I talked about earlier. If I wanted to connect this to, say, a third garden grid on the back side of our garden, I would just unscrew this cap, connect our garden hose to it, run the hose over to that other garden grid, and begin watering. The other aspect, of course, is if you have more than one additional garden grid, you just run a hose from this to another manifold, which connects another pair of garden grids somewhere else in your garden area. Alright, and that's it for Easy Growing episode 22. Thank you all so much for watching. You can find all of our Garden Grid watering system manifold heights on our site now, from ground level to 8-inch, 16-inch, 24-inch. They're also now a part of all of our raised garden kits for 2018 and on. So, hope you all have a wonderful gardening season. We'll see you next time.